Hey, I want to introduce to you how and why I started my YouTube channel. A very successful YouTube channel. Well, in my standards. Stay tuned and I'll explain it. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. If you're a first-time visitor, welcome to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead, and I say frugal because I didn't make too much money, so I was not able to purchase land in a conventional way, or even purchase a home in a conventional way, let alone build a home, or even build the farm in the conventional way. I had to be creative. So I want to invite you guys on a journey on how I started my YouTube channel. It was an accident. I'm serious. It was an accident. And how successful it became. Let's go. Okay, in this first video, I'm going to show, it's a reboot, but I'm going to show you, it has all the information in it on how and why I started my channel. You're going to be surprised. Watch. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Like I said in the bumper, if you're poor, or you just don't have much money, and you're afraid you cannot just reach that American dream of your own land ownership, well, there is hope. Let me digress a bit. We were homeless. We were actually living in a camp trailer in the Walmart parking lot, free campgrounds, and church parking lots. And I had lost my job, and circumstances beyond our control. We were, with my wife and two teenage kids, living this lifestyle for a couple of years until we were able to find a place to anchor. And then once we got anchored, during that time, real quick, I ended up having a heart attack, open heart surgery, cardiac arrest, blah, blah, blah. So that was in the midst of being homeless. So recuperating from the open heart surgery and taking some workshops on focusing on developing skills, and especially a new way of thinking, which really helped me out of that rut. And that is finding some programs that were available to help me out of that and gain some skills that are good marketable skills. I chose the medical industry that way. In case something else happened to me, I was within steps of the crash cart and I could hang around a little bit longer. So now I'm working in a solid vocation, and that started supplying an income. And one of the workshops I took really empowered me. It helped me focus on my abilities rather than my disabilities. And so my channel is all about encouraging people to rise above their circumstances and gain a foothold in life, and also focusing on your abilities rather than your disabilities if you have the disabilities like I do. With that knowledge and that power, you can obtain anything. You don't get if you don't ask or don't seek out. So now, to the main crux of the story of how to achieve the American dream in land ownership if you're poor. This is the entrance to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I discovered this one day while driving down the road past this place and noticing weeds growing over it. I was curious about it. So without a visible address sign or a mailbox to obtain a address, I went on Google Maps and I put my cursor in the middle of the tax lot. I right-clicked on it and it gave me the address. I then typed in the address and came up with two items for this property. Well, number one is the gentleman had apparently died 4 years previous, and number two is the county had seized the property and was offering it up for sale at auction. However, the auction had already come and passed. So with the auction passed, I went ahead and called the county and asked if they had this property still available. They did. Nobody wanted the property because of what you see here. It was a wreck. Apparently when the gentleman died, squatters got on the land and destroyed everything, including the single-wide mobile home. But that was good for me. That single-wide mobile home meant the infrastructure was already in place. It had a well, septic, power and phone, all that infrastructure was in. And it was already developed as a home site. All left behind was this stripped out RV and a couple of cars. So with that said, of course I didn't have any money with me or on me, but I did have a job. And what I did was called the county, asked the gal if it was still available, and looked at their terms. And their terms were, if the property was more than $10,000, the county would carry the note for 20 years and they'd sell it at minimum bid price at over-the-counter sale. And so I was able to collect the 10% down payment required to be able to initiate the process of purchasing the property. I did that by taking my car down and getting a title loan from one of these title loan companies, and got just enough money to be able to go ahead and pay the down payment. We signed the papers, we closed, and the property became in our possession and ownership. So there was no mortgage at all. There was no points to pay, no finance charges, nothing. The only other fee that we had to pay was like a $53 filing fee, so the clerk could walk it across the hall and file it with the county recorder's office. So now this is 5.7 acres, but being the acreage is uneven ground in surface area, it actually covers 10 acres. I might add that I took the metal from the mobile home along with the 2 cars and the RV, sent them to the scrap yards, and they sent me a check enough to pay for some gravel for the driveway, a new front gate, and enough to pay my first month's mortgage. And I put the fencing in. I had fencing already over at the Acorn Acres when we moved down here, so I had the material to build my own fencing. And then I purchased this double-wide manufactured home from a party down the road. They wanted to build their dream house on a new farm that they had just purchased, and they just needed to get the home out of there. So they sold it to me for $10,000. Of course, I made arrangements with her to pay $3,000 down and $300 a month until I got enough money to be able to pay it off. Well, we had that home paid off really fast within 9 months, and it's a beautiful home. Again, we were able to do it without financing. Of course, with a private party, they sold it to us interest-free. So that's how we were able to pay it off real quick. And just having a minimum job income. We're not middle class at all. We're not upper class. I just work what I can do, and the income I have, we're able to be successful and purchase this. I put the house together myself, saving a bundle of cash that I didn't have. And another interesting thing I did, with it being a mobile home or a manufactured home, I was able to get a permit to swap out manufactured home for manufactured home, which included all of the hookups for the sewer, the water, the power. And I did all that myself. Here in our state, if you're a homeowner, you can do all of the attachments yourself, so long as you do it to code, and the code inspectors come in and they look at it, and they either flunk you or pass you. They passed me on all my inspections because I downloaded the code book from the state website to be sure that when I put this unit together, I did it accurately. and to code, so I knew I was going to be able to pass these inspections. To purchase all the material for the foundation, I wanted my home set on a cement block foundation. So what I did is I started Craigslist, and I listed the axles. There was 6 axles and 12 wheels that I had purchased to install on the device, on the unit, when I had it moved. So I owned those outright, so I went ahead and listed it on my Craigslist, and I got a substantial amount of money, in my return, to be able to sell those individually to other private parties. And that gave me the extra money to buy some of the material. I was still lacking some material, so I was looking around for something else to sell. And with this, I had to show a little bit of ingenuity, and this is where my YouTube channel started. So what happened is I was looking around the house to see if I had anything of value. I found in my foot locker an old metal toy. Well, it's this toy right here. It's a metal tank, battery operated. So I made a video of the tank operating, and then I went on and started a YouTube account and posted this video on YouTube. That's the birth of my YouTube channel. Well, it wasn't a channel yet, it was just a YouTube video. So once I launched that onto YouTube, I went ahead and started, opened up a eBay account and posted this for sale on eBay, and started a PayPal account. So in case somebody wanted to buy it, they can just send the money through PayPal. So now here's the next step that I had to take to be able to get this little toy exposed. I did some research and found out this $5.55 toy that was sold in the 1965 Sears and Roebuck Christmas catalog is of interest to some investors who collect this type of toy. And this toy was part of a series of 5 or 6 toys in the Bandai Lunar toy series, whatever it was. Well, anyway, I opened up a Craigslist. I had my Craigslist account, so I posted an advertisement on Craigslist in all the major cities I can think of, because I figured the major cities is where people with liquid assets would be located. So I listed it in Paris, France, Rome, Italy, London, England, Miami, Florida, New York, Atlanta, Seattle, LA, cities like that, Dallas, Fort Worth. And I got a nibble. I sold that toy for over $800 to an investor down in Dallas. Yep, that's right. So that gave me the funds that I was able to use to purchase the rest of the material for the foundation. I might add that when I purchased the manufactured home, it came with the awnings for the carport and the deck itself, and the heat pump, so I didn't have those additional costs. So that's how I bought the land and the house for really cheap. And being poor, I was able to obtain the American dream and do it creatively. You don't need to go through the conventional pathways that everybody set up for you to try to steer you through and pay them lots of money to be able to meet the ends of getting that American dream. It's been 4 years now since we've been on this property, and we'll hopefully have it paid off in about another 5 years. So I hope I was able to encourage you and give you some information that you can go with. I don't think every county has this kind of option, but be resourceful and explore to see what other options are available for you, because there's all kinds of methods in which you can buy property. You don't have to do it the conventional way. And above all, be patient and don't be afraid to ask. So the rest of my videos in the archives are the adventure that I've taken through the process of putting the house together and developing the land, building all my outbuildings using free material that was given to me, or material I purchased from the sale of livestock that I would raise. So, try to be resourceful and work within your means and stop focusing on your disabilities. So I hope you enjoyed version B better than version A. Again, my apologies for uploading that accidentally. And stay tuned, I've got another video still coming, and it's showing how a poor man can build a farm and outbuildings on the farm for free or cheap. And that video is coming soon, so look for that. Okay, I wanted to point out that in that video, it was several years ago when I did it, I mentioned I used a title loan company. Well, I at the time I wasn't aware of these title loan companies that charge a high interest rate. I just wanted to emphasize it wasn't that kind of company. I actually got a loan using my car for collateral. It was a reputable, legitimate loan company that I went down and borrowed some money, enough money to pay the down payment on the property, but I used my car as collateral, and because I didn't have enough credit built up, I had to have a secured loan to get that much money to pay the down payment. But we succeeded, and I paid that loan off really fast. I don't know about you, but I hate debt. And I try to do everything I can, cheap or free. So as you've seen through that video, that little documentary on, I was sharing with you how a poor man, which I was poor, I wasn't making a sufficient amount of money to go out and get a bank loan. Nobody would loan me money. I had to come up with a creative way to find land and purchase land in a creative method, and I accidentally stumbled on this. So I hope that information helped you. I did provide a bunch of more in-depth information in other videos. I'll leave a link up here to be able to show, click on that and go into that series of videos so you can get more information if that's what you're interested in. But this show is about how I accidentally started my YouTube channel. Now, a couple of the reasons why my channel became successful and how successful it is number one, I just clicked on a genre on what I was interested in, and that's all I'm going to do. If you're going to start a YouTube channel and you want to make a lot of money, gaming is the niche. That is the corner market and what you want to go for. If you want to make a lot of money, I am not into gaming. I'm just into doing this as a hobby, thus the name Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I love what I do. I enjoy what I do. And I gotta add, because we were out there, we got discovered by Hollywood. They came in, they invited us to audition. We auditioned for a reality show. We did the reality show, and now we're in reruns just about 4 times a year, all over the world. And so that actually helped promote the market and promote my my channel a little bit in a small way. And the reason why I say that is I only get a boost in views in the hour that our show airs. It's not an ongoing thing, and it settles back down after the show leaves, and then, you know, leaves the air, and then we're back to normal. And depending on our own wits, our own content for our YouTube show. So accidentally starting a YouTube channel was only for the purpose of selling that toy that I mentioned in the documentary at the beginning of the movie. And the rest of it was accidental. We didn't start making revenue right away because you needed to get so many subscribers and so many views to start making revenue, and you needed to sign up with AdSense accounts. And then there's a whole lot of, a couple of other things you needed to do to get it started. So I figured, might as well try it. You just do it. So I did it. And we started getting revenue. Boy, for the first several years, there was like we didn't get anything. You had to make $100 threshold to be able to get a check. So it took us 3 to 4 years to even make, collectively, for the 3 or 4 years to make $100 to get our first check. But I remember the day we got our first check. That was weird. Wait a minute. I'm making money, making content videos on just demonstrating on how I'm learning how to homestead and building my homestead for cheap and free. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there interested, so I picked up on that, and it's just like, you know what? My heart is in helping people. It's not so much about making the money, but it's just reaching out and just helping lift people up, giving them the motivation and the tools they need to figure out a way out of their rut that they're in, like I was. We were homeless. As you saw in the documentary, we were homeless. I had a catastrophic health occurrence. I ended up in cardiac arrest 4 times. And coming out of that was my disability, is I still have problems with my heart because of my exposure to Agent Orange when I served in the U.S. military defending our country. And I have ongoing problems that are manifesting even more and more, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about, I accidentally started a YouTube channel. So I know you guys are waiting to find out how much I make from YouTube. Well, put it this way. I make enough revenue each month now to pay the mortgage on the house, annually to pay the taxes that are owed on the house, and to pay the homeowner's insurance. That's it. Not a whole wealth of income, but I managed through YouTube in showing you guys how I'm building the place, and you guys watching the show and looking at the commercials helps pay for the place. So in a nutshell, that's how I accidentally started a YouTube show, starting from just the need to sell a toy to get some money to build the foundation on my house. And then the next show was, you know what? I'm going to film a little video for my family, my extended family members, and just get it out there and let them see how I'm building my barn for cheap and free, how I'm building my chicken coop for cheap and free, and just letting them watch us how we came out of homelessness and evolved into where we are today. This was more of a personal thing to the family, but I didn't realize these films that I was providing for the family, like the little red barn, the little chicken coop, those are the first 2 second and third videos. I didn't realize how much they were catching on, and all of a sudden my channel started growing. So that's it. That's how I ended up starting a YouTube channel on accident. And that's all I have to say about that. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Mountains of the Pacific Northwest. Please stay tuned to more videos. You could do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon. That will alert you to the new videos as I produce them and upload them. I have a lot of different variety on my shows. For instance, how I built this room. I turned this bedroom into a library, and then installing propane, and then also painting my art, homesteading, doing animal husbandry, beekeeping, gardening, got the greenhouse, just a whole gamut of stuff, everything about homesteading, doing practical maintenance on your vehicles, and even rebuilding vehicles, and even learning how to can. I demonstrate that to you, so check us out. Please be safe. Please be safe. Always be kind. Please leave a comment. We'll see you guys in our new adventures coming up. This is a brand new year, 2022. I'm looking for better things ahead. I hope you are too. Bye-bye now.